Hi guys, Bearded Rogue here, and I wanted to talk about something that's pretty um, different subject than a lot of my other videos, and that's I'm a parent. I have one son. He is amazing. He's 3 years old now, and when I go to conventions, I have to leave him behind, and I have to leave my wife behind. And at this point, I've been married for 14 years, and my wife and I are used to being apart occasionally. It's good for both of us to have some time doing our own things. She'll do all sorts of retreats and things like that on her own. I go to gaming conventions. It works out really well for us. We always come back with a renewed appreciation and focus on each other, and everything's just awesome when we both get to engage in our hobbies. But with my son, it's a new experience. Like, I'm still not used to leaving him for long periods of time. It's something that was easier when he was younger. He was, it's harder to engage with a younger child who isn't verbal yet, or isn't really expressing preferences, or hasn't really developed into their own person yet. You take care of them, you make sure that everything they have is there, but you aren't really interacting with them on a personal level yet. Now he's 3 and he's totally his own person. Like, he's got an attitude like you wouldn't believe, and he's very much himself. And so it's fun to be around him, and it's fun to talk to him, and it's fun to interact with him. But when I go to conventions, I miss all of that. And kids develop so fast that there's, the very distinct possibility that I'll miss the first time he ever does something. Like, I post occasionally, like, he calls Chewbacca Chewbacca, but up until recently, like, he called the band Pentatonics P-Tonics, and just now recently has been able to say the whole thing. Or he was talking about, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were either the Teenage Mutant Turtles or they were the Teenage Ninja Turtles. He couldn't get both mutant and ninja in, and now he does. And, that's just something that happened recently. And those are the kinds of things that you miss when you're away. Not that, like, you should never be away from your kids. I think it's vitally important as a parent to get some time away and to engage your interests and your hobbies. But those are the kinds of things the kinds of things that hit you as a parent that exist. Like, it's hard to leave, and it's hard to miss him, and I'm sure that, like, we'll probably set up FaceTime sessions, or we'll talk on the phone. Although his favorite thing to do on FaceTime is push the big red button that hangs up the call. So we'll see. We'll occasionally get some conversations in, but I'm sure that I'll talk to him, and I'm sure that I'll see him, but it is hard to leave every time. Like, it hasn't gotten any easier, even though I know I'm coming to all of you amazing people, and I get to hang out with you guys and be around my posse and my clan and my board games and my design friends. And, like, it's board gaming nirvana to go to conventions like this, like Origins and this and Board Game Geek. But part of one of the biggest parts of my life is my son, and he's something that I don't get to take with me yet. I'm really excited for the future, when that becomes a possibility, when I can bring him to conventions with me, and it'll be cool. Like, he went to Origins, like, the year he was born. He went to Origins with me, and I wore him strapped to me. But now he's way too big to strap to me, and he kicks like a mule and fights like a bag of anacondas. So there's no way that I could keep him from just going crazy. There's no way I could see everything I wanted to see. There's no way I could keep him from dashing off into the crowd, that kind of thing. So, that's where we are now at this point. He'll get older, and eventually that stuff won't be an issue anymore, and, he'll be he'll either be into playing games or he won't. He'll be interested in going with me to conventions or not. I don't know yet what he's going to be. I think there's a good chance he'll like conventions. He's very interested in what I'm doing when I'm board gaming. He's obsessed with Star Wars and Ninja Turtles and lots of other, nerdy pursuits or hobbies or intellectual properties. So, there's the possibility that he will want to go to conventions with me, and I would love that, because it's always hard to leave him behind and not bring him with me to conventions. So yeah, it's just know that if you're there as a parent and your kids aren't with you, I know what it's like. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, thank God I get a second to myself. But there's always that part of you that's thinking, you know, wow, what are they doing right now? Or what am I missing? Or, you know, are they okay? Not that not that you don't trust whoever it is that's taking care of them. It's, you know, just a constant thought in your mind, regardless of who's babysitting or whether you have a significant other who's handling parental duties while you're away. It's always a thought in my mind anyway of, you know, what's he doing, how is he doing, is he okay, even with daycare during the regular day. So when I'm away at a convention, it's really that way. Bringing kids with you to conventions is difficult, and a lot of the conventions like BGG-Con in November don't allow kids under a certain age. And I can understand that, and I can respect it, because children change the whole dynamic of a space. Now, I'm not going to say that they change it in a negative way, because I personally love kids and love being around kids and love playing games with kids, but it is a different dynamic, and it's something that you have to respect as a parent, that, you know, sometimes your kids aren't welcome in the specific space. And it's not that people don't like them, it's that the dynamic that kids bring changes it from what other people like. It's totally okay for people to not want to have kids around when they're board gaming. Whether it's because they would like to use swear words, or just because kids are a constant source of distraction or interruption, or, you know, whatever the reason may be. You know, people have a million reasons for why they feel the way they do. But, I think that it is hard. Like, you know, it's hard to parent in general when you're not in your home. Hotels are not always set up in a very good way for children. They're much more set up for business travelers, to be honest. That's who uses them more. So, you know, disabled rooms in particular are interesting with children, because everything's where your child can reach. That was something I was unprepared with, having a toddler and getting a room that was handicap accessible. That was interesting to try to navigate that, because he could reach things like the microwave and the refrigerator and, you know, the light switches and everything, and it wasn't something that was at all true at home. You know, finding them what they can eat or drink without spending a million bajillion dollars. You know, as an adult, if I go to a convention, I can guaranteedly find something to eat. That I will eat, especially since I have no real dietary restrictions or any personal dietary restrictions. So it makes it easy for me to find food. But finding him food, it has to be something that he's willing to eat. And, you know, there's some things around the house that he's used to eating by routine. You know, if I can't get him mac and cheese over a 4-day weekend, that could be a crisis. And a crisis can turn into an explosion and can potentially impact how much time I get to spend at the convention, or how much enjoyment my wife and he have accompanying me to the convention. So, you know, it's one of those things where you have to always kind of be considering that. And if you bring kids to a convention, assume that you're not going to get to do everything that you want to do. That's the case always at a convention. You're not going to get to do everything that you want to do. But with children, it's especially true. You know, they're not going to be willing to walk around for hours and hours and hours and hours. You know, they're going to, especially my 3-year-old, he's going to want to take a nap at some point. You know, he's going to want to eat more often than I will. I could probably go the whole day until dinner time without eating if I eat breakfast, but he's going to want lunch, and that's going to make me take a break from whatever it is I'm doing, wherever it is I am. So it's a totally different animal to attend a convention with children. And the people who do it, I respect the hell out of you for being able to manage it, but I'm not yet. And when he's a little older, I'm really looking forward to it. But just know that while I'm there at Gen Con, if you are missing your children, I'm missing mine, and that I really understand what that's like, the good and the bad. So a little bit of an introspective video today, but it's something that I've been thinking about as I'm leaving for Gen Con this week, that I'm going to be gone for 4 days, and he's still going to be here at home with my wonderful wife, who will do a fantastic job taking care of him, but he's not going to be with me, and I'm going to miss him. So that's it. if you have anything, like any stories or any questions or any tips about kids in conventions, or how to deal with missing your children while you're at a convention, I would love to hear them. I would really appreciate it, because I know even with business trips, it's a thing for me. And a convention is at least a little bit easier, because there's all sorts of stuff that I want to do around. But it's still not the easiest thing in the world. So that's it for today. So thanks for listening, if you listen to the whole thing, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bearded Rogue, out.